Subway's now slicing their meat fresh. Try a new deli hero from the Subway series and taste the difference for yourself.
Hello everyone and welcome back and welcome to our Subway halftime refresh. Especially to I think we all need a little refresh after that game because LiT Esports be starting off our series, getting the upset in our game one. What is happening today, Joshi? Tell me.
I don't know. LiT is pretty sick. I mean, the top part of the bracket, or the first game of the day rather, I think was close to what I expected, right? I thought it was going to be fairly close. This one, I didn't really know what to think, right? The fact that LiT won against Mirage Alliance yesterday, I was kind of willing to write off as a bit of a fluke because I thought that Mirage Alliance was very clearly not on the same page. But now LiT is doing it again to a different team. So, like, at what point does it stop being a fluke and just LiT being good?
Now.
Is that about now?
Now. Yeah. Yeah, I would say now.
Yeah. I'm also gonna, I know he's in Twitch chat. Grapes, you also get some of the blame for telling us that LiT wasn't gonna win a game.
Yeah. So calling out all the open qualifiers casters right now. I said yesterday before they even played a single game, they were gonna 2-0 Mirage Alliance and they were gonna qualify, and here we are. I am genius.
Oh, all right. Don't go to that. Don't go that far. But Alex, I do wanna ask you because Joshi asked, when does it stop being a fluke? And you said, now. What was it about I want to know, like, when you're looking at this performance, we got to see earlier on that Winthrop got the first game win and then lost two. So how convinced are you with this game one that this was not also just a fluke and we get to see that reverse sweep coming up? What was it about that sold you on that?
When you have 3 games that you don't just look good, but you look dominant in, that's when. When it's not just that they were able to scrape by in any of those victories. They didn't just barely win. They look good in these games. Rockboom especially just is really putting on a masterclass as an AD carry. And that's why I say after 3 games of it, this is the time it stops being a fluke. Once, yeah, sure. Twice, okay, maybe it was just Mirage that having a bad day. But then you do the same thing against a completely different squad on a different day. That's when it stops being a fluke.
Well, I'm excited to see in this game, too, if we get to see our first 2-game series of the day. But, of course, we are going to play a little bit of a game while we're getting that game set up. Of course, earlier we got to see the newly duo game and test how well Magical knew Joshi, which turned out to be not at all. So now we're going to reverse it a little bit.
We are on the same team.
Alex apparently does
I don't know about that. I don't know about
that. We are on the same team.
I don't trust that. I don't trust this. I don't trust this.
But we're gonna see the other way. This time, Joshi, you're gonna be answering questions about what Magical thought of that first series to see if you know him better. All right? Joshi, that is how I have felt all day today working with you two. You'll be able to deal. You'll be able to deal with that.
That's because you're Canadian.
I don't know, but all right. We're moving on. We're moving on. So we don't have much time for this. We got a series to get back to, all right?
Okay.
All right, the very first question. Joshi, who did Magical think had the most surprising performance game one? This could be either good or bad. Surprising is the key word. Not expected.
Okay.
It's gonna lock in.
All right, I got it.
Alex surprised by? Because I think he's going to say, "Oh, I predicted everyone the entire way through.
Yeah.
Everybody played
because
exactly as I expected."
I know everything, and I am the best. So
Big brain.
I'm gonna go NXI because I feel, dang, I was not even close.
Messages.
Okay, now I'm curious why.
Because I was actually surprised. I was curious to see with the Azir play that we saw yesterday. I'm like, okay, how does he do outside of Azir, right? How does he perform when not just on this one champion that he looked good yesterday on, but now a completely different style, something that is more the marksman, kind of the secondary carry that can help out the team. And while in the lane phase, it was all right. There was that one fight especially where Rockboom gets bursted down pretty quickly, and then he takes over the range from there. That I think really surprised me and really got me won over by messages.
All right, I buy it.
I buy it.
There you go. There you go.
There was not a lot of like super surprising things that happened that game.
All right, well then we'll swap up for the next question. Who had the most impactful gameplay in that game one?
No, he's trying to trick me.
Magical, stop trying to trick Joshi. That is literally not the game. If you were on the game show right now, you'd be actively losing money. All right?
It's actually hard. There's 2 players.
He saw it. He was like, he's looking like, oh, you can tell.
Okay. I'm going
Surely.
to... Hold on. Don't say anything. I'm still writing it.
Surely.
Okay.
Surely.
Writing it down.
Surely it's Rock Boom. Surely. The guy is so good.
I don't like how Magical's laughing here.
Come on.
Oh,
Okay.
let's go.
On the board.
It is Rock Boom.
It's dunked on, Alex.
Was very
You got
close.
0 questions right.
Dragoon was very close. I almost put Dragoon.
It's fair. I feel
Right.
like considering that game 1, Joshi, this makes sense.
Okay, yeah. All right, do we have one more?
We got one more,
Fast.
real quick.
Okay,
Who
okay.
wins this entire series?
I know what he says.
Yeah, I already read it.
It's lit.
Yeah, it's lit.
It's lit. It's lit.
Yeah, it's lit.
Backwards. There we go. The double L's. Lit Esports.
I mean, we'll see if LiT can hand out the double L at this point. As up one in the series, they have the potential for this upset here to show everyone them being here and them getting this wins is not a fluke. I'm excited to see this game 2, how it shakes up. So it's time for a draft. Good luck, guys.
All right, let's see how this game really does shake up. Because I think if you're Team Fish Taco and you're trying to draft against LiT, you're just not going to have a good time. You're just not going to be able to predict what they're doing.
I can't imagine that Team Fish Taco's morale has gotten better after that game. Right?
No, not at all.
We knew that they did not come into today with the highest of spirits, just kind of in general. A lot of their members have expressed frustration that they are even here. Onat said directly, it feels like a disgrace to ourselves as players. Those are hard words. But he also said that they are the barbarians because they are being fueled by rage coming into this one, and this is their opportunity to showcase what it means to make Team Fish Taco angry. They are now down 1 game. But the big thing that they can do, they can try and help out the jungle in particular, because when Team Fish Taco are winning, so much of it happens when they are playing through Rosethorn, and we didn't really get to see a whole lot of him on the Ivern. LiT leaves the Kindred up, you know he's picking it right away.
Oh yeah, 100%. That is going to be a first pick here for Team Fish Taco, especially because with that Jax ban, yep, there it is. Going to leave that open, which now Rakan is available. Tristana, another thing that we've been seeing permanently banned throughout the promotion tournament, has been left open. So which one do you really want to prioritize here? Do you want to get NXI onto something that he's shown that he's really confident on, or the very powerful Tristana, and that's what they opt for?
Yeah, Tristana not nearly as good on the 13-16 patch as they were throughout most of summer, but still a character that has a lot of control over the game and can be a huge part of how you actually win. Now, LiT Esports does have access to the Maokai, which is pretty darn good for them in Game 1. It has been one of the highest presence characters in this tournament so far. I believe maybe with missing 1 game at all, but at the same time, okay, I thought we do have the Maokai. Yeah, LiT Esports are going to be going tried and true. They already want to make sure they have this very strong jungle control, very easy ways to try and get these team fights started as well, and also a way to get on top of Onat if they need to in the mid lane.
Yeah, I do like this Maokai. I think it worked really well for LiT and really did set up a lot of their plays as well as made it so they can get some vision control. But messages. The Lucian was what they played at last time, but now with the Tristana showing, they decided to go for the Jace side of the matchup, picking that away from Onat, even though we know that Onat on this Tristana.
This is most typically an Ivern that comes out from this position.
Yeah,
right? Whenever you get the Tristana versus Jace, you also tend to get a Maokai versus Ivern trade, right? It's just how most top leagues have been playing this out, just because you have the tools to have the poke, and you try and deny the poke, and you get on in, and you get the fights going. But instead, Team Fish Taco, they're going to be picking up the Lilia. Now, this doesn't have to be in the jungle, but it most likely is.
Most likely. And I actually kind of like the Lilia too, because not only do you get a good amount of damage since you are going to have that marksman in the mid lane, now you have an AP damage source, but just how much she provides for a lot of these team fights that could really set up the rest of the team, I think is something that we saw banned before, now being left open, and having something that's powerful like this Renekton to kind of play around could be an area that Team Fish Taco can rely on, since we saw last game, Lunacia was getting the better end of Dragoon earlier into the game, and it was really bot lane that was struggling. Now they really seem like they want to put even more into the Lunacia basket.
I have thoughts about this Lilia, right? Because Lilia tends to struggle into two things. One, point and click crowd control.
Yep.
I don't see any of that on LiT, so you're good there, right? Two, powerful auto attackers. Luckily, we don't have any of those on LiT either. You know, there's nobody on LiT who is known for doing damage with auto attacks and who presses W and just does double damage with your auto attacks at all. Definitely none of that coming out from LiT. This Lilia is a great pick. I think we can go home. With that said, oh, this is going to be a weird one coming out for Team Fish Taco, right? The Lilia's going to have to try and dance around all of this, but I worry that they will not have the damage to try and kill messages. They will not have the damage to try and kill Kiss Note. They will not have the speed to try and keep up with Rock Boom until you get to like 4-ish items, right? That's going to be the big issue that Team Fish Taco are going to have, is that they're spiking at all different times all over the map.
I shouldn't have said anything about the Alawi beforehand. It looks like Team Fish Taco were listening to me. They're like, he knows something. He knows something.
Luckily, there are a couple of other champions that are very, very good into the Renekton as well, right?
Yeah.
You know, we've seen the Quinn already come through. The Kled is a counter pick that you do see from time to time as well. Alao is the other one that I remember seeing during the Challengers League summer. But this is all kinds of tools for LiT Esports to be set up for a lot of success. And again, as long as Team Fish Taco aren't just rolling over the game, they haven't won a lot of games outside of that, right? Unless they are really winning the mid lane 2v2, getting Onat and Rosethorn ahead, they oftentimes will flounder in the mid game, and we saw a little bit of that in game 1.
And I'm curious to see your for LiT Esports now with the Ornn being banned away by Team Fish Taco. Dragoon, you were mentioning these counter picks to the Renekton, right? The Quinn, the Kled. But we gotta think about who is playing in this top lane. Dragoon is a player that has a very unique champion pool. There's a reason why I mentioned the Alawi beforehand, the Darius we already see banned, now the Mordekaiser. This is much more a Dragoon special.
It is a Dragoon champion. Now, for what it's worth, this champion is not good into Lilia. Like, not at all. Like, you cannot play this interaction. It is so tough for Mordekaiser. So that does very quickly give Rosethorn a very easy target up on the top side of the map to try and play with Lunacia to shut down Dragoon relatively early on in the game. They did a decent job of that in game 1, and Lunacia was set up for further success. Now, the Ezreal as well, try and match some of the range advantages that LiT have for themselves. And Team Fish Taco, the biggest thing that they still need is they need a way to try and get in underneath the engage tools that LiT have. And the Rakan looking to come out for NXI is going to be the answer. It has been his other best character, especially once the Rel is gone.
Yeah, it was also banned in the game 1 from LiT, taking that away, saying, yeah, we know that NXI is really good, especially to engage and set up the rest of the team, especially when you look at what Team Fish Taco have drafted for themselves. They have a composition that most of their members kind of want to dive in. They want to play aggressively and follow the leader, follow the Rakan into danger.
Yeah, I also want to ask you a question that I've seen from Twitch chat. Who wins, Flux or NXI, in a fist fight?
Now, are we talking about what champion they pick?
No.
Oh no. I don't want him to. I don't want him to fist fight.
I was just saying, this is the questions that Twitch chat has been looking for us to answer. I'm gonna go with NXI. The guy's got, he's got some meat behind his bones, and I think that would really help him out. But this time, he's also getting counterpicked here in the bottom lane. One of the counterpicks that I was always asking for whenever Rakan was super meta was this Leona. It is so hard for Rakan to try and leave when you get those Zenith Blades, because Leona will follow you over towards your other teammate as well. And it means that you can really just try and hit one person over and over. LiT Esports have great tools to try and take down this Lilia. They have great tools to try and get some poke. The biggest thing is they cannot let Team Fish Taco roll over them in the first and second item in order to establish themselves as the winners of this game.
Yeah, LiT Esports, they have some power in the spot lane again, looking at Rock Boom, looking at Plux, how they can play against Spawn and NXI, but as you said, it's the power of the top lane, and Team Fish Taco really leaning more into utilizing Rosethorn and Lunacia.
As I start going through, right, Roster and Lunacia have been some of the big players, but they got to get Onat involved too. When they play as a group, that is really when Team Fish Taco start to take things over. They are a snowbally style of team. They are continuously looking to find even more opportunities to group up every single game.
We actually got to hear from Onat, not only in just the interview we heard earlier in the day, but also just interviewing him in general about how he feels about Team Fish Taco's playstyle.
We can have strong laning that translates into early objectives, and we kind of snowball games. We let it go out of control, and then we play really aggressive and look to engage and fight whenever we want. And that's how we play. We snowball the hell out of the game.
Weird. It's almost like I talked to him and just stole those words.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird, isn't that, Josh? Very, very strange. That's what we also saw in the summer split, you know, when they got their wins.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Well, the audience seems a little bit more in tune with Team Fish Taco. I'm a little bit surprised, to be entirely honest, but that might change now that they see that on screen. So
maybe they think I cast a curse LiT.
Oh, that could be true. Now, the big thing here that I kind of want to pay attention to is, again, one, the Lilia, but two, the Mordekaiser. Because the Mordekaiser is an interesting counter pick to the Renekton. And one of the big things that this Mordekaiser will do for LiT Esports later on in the game is they will remove the front line from Team Fish Taco. And that will allow characters like the Maokai and the Leona to get in on top of the relatively squishy backline, and both the Jace and the Zeri will be able to follow it up.
Especially if you're able to get some of that poke down first from LiT. Utilizing the Jace, the Zeri, then going for some of that engage. But I like this from Team Fish Taco. This time around, Spawn NXI didn't have to worry about setting up a trap, so they were able to get into the bot lane at the same time. They're the ones with that experience lead, kind of bullying around Rockboom and Flux initially.
And it's definitely a good look for Spawn and NXI, right? NXI as a role-swapping jungler, just like we saw with Dardoch yesterday. It's actually the second time in a row that Plux is playing up against jungles now playing support. His laning phase was typically the most questionable part. And that's pretty common, right? For role swaps, they will not know the laning phase nearly as well because they haven't been playing it for nearly as long as everybody else. But his engages were spot on. And now Rosethorn going for an aggressive invade into Kisno. Should finish this before Kisno has any idea.
Yeah, Kisno gonna finish the Wolves at the same time. Now realizes, oh, yeah, don't have my blue buff anymore. Good plays there from Team Fish Taco, utilizing that power in this bot lane where they're able to get the initial leads. And this is kind of going back to that whole thing with Onat. Trying to steamroll early into the game, snowball a lot of these leads out of control where LiT just cannot keep up.
And this is also a really good usage of the Lilia, right? Going into the Maokai. The Maokai does not a lot of damage and will not win any duel going into this tier whatsoever. That means that Rosethorn walks in, walks out, but Dragoon running down the clock a little bit is going to be pushing the wave right back on out. And unfortunately, this is also the exact same time that Rosethorn is the top half of the map.
Good, again, good movements here from Rosethorn. Realized the spot lane had that timer where he can punish that, utilize the Tristana push as well. Go for the invade now because he had all that time, and it's going to be the slow push going back in these bot lanes and the mid lanes. You can go to the top lane and say, hey, yeah, I know Dragoon's going to probably slowly push back towards Lunacia, so if I need to, I could always support the Renekton early on into the game.
Yeah, and interestingly, Lunacia choosing to push the wave right on back towards Dragoon, but Kisno checking out his own side of the jungle, but messages might be too low to actually help him.
Yeah, without that much mana either. Not really going to be able to perform the best support there. Need to, but bot lane. Do you see that NXI? Going to take a lot of damage there. An early Ignite placed down by Plux to try to scare away the engage of Team Fish Taco. All the while, they're still waiting out on the top side of the map. Kisno can't really stop Rosethorn from just taking his entire jungle.
That means that another camp will be going over to a Rosethorn in the top half of the map, right, as they move over towards the Krugs. That is also putting pressure on Dragoon's laning phase, because he now has to be very careful about any opportunity of a dive. He is not yet level 6.
Oh, Rockboom staying in the spot lane despite how low he is, but the dash coming in
Ooh.
and right underneath the nose of Kisno. They lose the bot lane, but it should be a trade back. NXI flash away, the flash coming in from Kisno to make sure they get one back in retribution, but the top lane, Dragoon now in danger, has that flash, but holding on to the shield the best he can. Wanted to get the pull back in. He's underneath the turret, so he'll survive. But all in all, it's Team Fish Taco coming out ahead.
And you also see the aggression coming out from Spawn as well, something that we've loved watching in this growth from this player from their time on Dignitas, now on Team Fish Taco, consistently looking for opportunities to play a little bit further forward. Lands the W, knows that he can jump on in because it forces the E to lock onto that target. They find the kill that they need and start putting themselves ahead and starting to keep Rockboom down as well.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing. That was kind of the problem that Team Fish Taco realized a little bit too late in game one, was that Rockboom got to that point in the game where he was just too large for them to contend with, even with Lunacia having quite a lead over Dragoon. This time around, not nearly the case. They get that first blood for Spawn. Top lane, Lunacia still winning out against Dragoon.
Ooh, that's 6.
That is 6, though. Does he put him into the Shadow Realm? Wait to see if he is in the Shadow Realm. Okay, the dash coming in from Lunacia. I think you're playing a little bit too aggressively there. The flash coming in underneath the turret. Maybe it's not too aggressive because Lunacia knew he could win.
Wow, Lunacia just goes right on in, feels so confident in his ability to get through, waiting for all the abilities to come back up and build up so much rage, finds the solo kill up here in the top side. Dragoon on this Mordekaiser falling very far behind. This time there wasn't even Rose Thorn to help.
Starting to get that snowball early into the game, but now we're having a fight around the Dragon, and Onat is going to be the one punished as the Dragon still has the aggro, forcing the flash out of Rose Thorn. So despite the fact that you have some areas that are winning out for Team Fish Taco and it looked like they could start snowballing again, one little skirmish there around the Dragon goes LiT's way.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, great crowd control layering right onto Onat, making sure he can't do anything as they go for a potential dive.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting because Rose Thorn's right there. They knew that he was in the bot lane. Kisto trying to defend, get a little bit of the attention from Rose Thorn, who is low on mana, so he's going to struggle to continue that fight.
Yeah, going to be having to back away as well. Rose Thorn needs to double check, make sure that nobody else except for Kisno is standing around, but will allow Spawn and NXI to build up a little bit of a freeze, deny a couple minions away from Rockboom and Plux. But at the same time, looks like something similar is going to be happening in the top side of the map. Dragoon might once again be playing utility, but this time utility Mordekaiser. He just presses R and someone says, hey, well, I'm going to hold you here, and we're going to hold hands in the Shadow Realm and go on a date while the rest of the team fights.
Yeah, while you don't have to worry about the Renekton diving onto your Zeri, I guess that's going to be his whole shtick in this game. Not necessarily the best here for LiT, but I still want to kind of focus on the spot lane and look at how Rockboom is going to be able to play in this one, because despite the fact that he did die earlier on, has been able to at least stay even in CS against Spawn and kind of stay in this lane. Which I think is going to be a big thing. We look at Zeri and how she spikes around those two items. Well, Ezreal is going to be similar. Starts to spike. And Ezreal is kind of similar, but I think that's really going to benefit Rockboom here as long as he can stay even against Spawn.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like that's definitely one of those Chad memes, right? Where you have like the Zeri on 2 items, and then you have the early Ezreal Chad on 2 items, right?
Yeah.
There's so much more damage coming out from the Ezreal at that point in time. And while it does mean that Rockboom is getting closer to that 3 items, where they're just like, haha, I can do whatever I want, it is not quite there. And so, for now, LiT Esports falling a little bit behind, only about 1,000 gold, but as this Rift Herald does fall, it will be giving Team Fish Taco another opportunity to try and snowball the game if they can get a dive off with this Rift Herald as well.
This is where I'm wondering where you kind of want to put that. I don't think you need to put it top lane because you're already winning out pretty heavily there. But mid lane might be the call because Messages, now without any mana, try to fight against NXI and Onat. Gonna struggle, especially now that you have NXI just hovering around here. Onat's gonna push another wave and possibly even take a plate by himself without even needing that Rift Herald.
Yeah, and NXI coming around the side now that Plex has backed away.
No. There's the flash though for Messages, flashes back towards the tier 2. They will survive. It's gonna be a flash trade, but again, favoring that of Team Fish Taco.
Yeah, I mean, not all flashes are created equal right now. Messages is so much more vulnerable here in the mid lane, and Onat can try and be very aggressive. At the same time, we see the skirmish going on up in the top side of the map. They know where Kisno is, and Rose Thorn, he can dance around Dragoon all day long.
Yeah, this is actually not something that Team Fish Taco really, not Team Fish Taco, that LiT want, because Team Fish Taco, they're the ones with the bait, they understand, and look at that. Onat's already showed up, there's no TP for Messages, so now they realize this is a bad spot, but Lunacia taking pretty low, pulled back in, into the Shadow Realm he goes, and is leaving Casto all by himself, with the Dragon coming in. At least Dragoon does get one, but the reset Kisto, he interrupted, and then they're gonna dive back in, and look at how powerful Dragoon is! Dragoon smash time! Look at Onat, nowhere to go, dying to Plux the support!
And it ends up being a 2-for-1 going in favor of LiT. They're still down 1,000 gold. That's still a fantastic play coming out from this top side of the map. They read the play even though they're on the ward the entire time. It is LiT that respond better. And now, Spawn and NXI looking to try and get something. They should be getting a plate here off of Rockboom, but it's a small recompense for the play that just happened.
Yeah, I think that actually is so devastating there for Team Fish Taco. The fact that Dragoon, who is struggling in this matchup, gets himself a kill. He takes down Lunacia, and Onat dying as well. there's so much now that LiT have gotten back for themselves in the game. Like, look at mid lane. Messages should be able to get at least a plate for himself.
The big thing here is the fact that Lunacia actually gets caught out by that E coming in. The pull from Dragoon does mean that it's so much more difficult for him to try and get away. And as he comes back, that's just a ton of extra stats. Flux already here, tries to find their way to Ona, and even though he throws out the Buster Shot, still gets hit by the Q, and it's an isolated Q, which means he takes extra damage.
Extra damage, and now Dragoon's got himself his first item, that Rally's Crystal Scepter, that he's going to come back into lane and actually have a fair time of dealing with both Rosethorn and Lunacia with.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of questions, again, about this Lillian pick. It seems like it could be very strong, but we'll get back to that as LiT, they are not going to have Rock Boom for this Dragon if Team Fish Taco chose to do it on spawn. They're already moving around NXI and Rosethorn, trying to slow down any advance coming in from Kisno and Flux. They have a lot of tools to lock down a single person. They just need some extra damage.
Seems that Team Fish Taco are still worried about the TP potential there from Dragoon, who doesn't have that Shadow Realm up just yet. But it is going to be slowly getting its way back off a cooldown, and now LiT have gotten themselves all grouped around this Dragon take. Even looking at Dragoon, he's already showing up into the bot lane as Rockboom tried to go for a 1v1 against the bot lane, but here's going to be the pullback in. They've got the Solar Flare, the Cleanse already on to Spawn, but Spawn trying to get away, but they got the damage on NXI, and that's going to be the first casualty. TP is too late. Your support is gone, same with the jungler. They've got a double kill, they've got the root onto the Croc, and back into the Shadow Realm. What happened last time, Lunacia? You fought against Dragoon. He smashed you then, and he's looking to smash you now, getting the damage in the middle of 4. The flash does nothing. The slice will save his life, but it's LiT once more coming out ahead.
And LiT once again finding a couple of extra kills. Now they're here to pick up a couple of plates as well, and they can back away and grab the dragon, everything going their way. Lunacia clears out the way, but that's just a little bit the gold lead that Team Fish Taco have been relying on, the snowball that they were trying to start not coming through at all. And Ona in the mid lane, they're losing so much there, but Onat is not strong right now. No. They do not have the tools to fight this dragon.
Onat saying, you know, the play is forfeit in the bot lane. I might as well try to take down the tier 1, get something back for the team. He will get a lot of plates because they knew that that second dragon was going to be picked up by LiT.
Yeah. As we start going into this one, again, Rockboom, so much confidence, just jumped right on into spawn, and a great flash going up against NXI. This is just, again, LiT responding faster to some of these plays, and Onat trying to do as much damage as possible to cancel the teleport. But there's 2 teleports coming through. Messages ends up going down here to Ona in the mid lane, trying to find his way down to the bottom. That's something we did miss. But after that, it's just a matter of trying to get as much as possible. You can see that Rockboom trying to go back for the Rift Herald instead of getting it a little bit earlier. Is that they lose a couple of plates and Lunacia maybe lives, but either way, a huge turnaround from LiT.
Huge turnaround to get themselves the second dragon of the game. Does seem that they might lose out on this tier 1 in the bot lane. No spawn. It was very close. He really wanted it, but not going to be that wave. Instead, he's going to have to peel back. But still, a lot has been picked up by LiT. But regardless of that fact, Josh, we have seen a lot of these plays where LiT have been fighting back. They still have yet to get the gold. Team Fish Taco have been utilizing a lot of that power they had earlier into the game. They get that turret there in the bot lane. They have the mid lane so close to death as well. They have 1,000 gold that they continue to lord over LiT.
Yeah, and the big thing now is for Team Fish Taco, because they have gotten to this position with a lead, they will be able to move into the later stages of the game, where Rosethorn will be so much stronger with plenty of tools, right? Ezreal will get them over this hump here in just a moment. Renekton is still strong, and 50 CS up going up against Dragoon in the top side at the same time. Tristana, you know, Rosethorn starting to become a relevant player in a lot of these fights, but it is all about how they actually manage to get to the next couple of items, and I don't even think they need to fight this.
So right now, Taco, they want this. Team Fish Taco are playing around the fight that they want it on Rift Herald. The Dragoons into the Shadow Realm against Lunacia, but he's losing this time around. He's going to be a lot of damage on NXI, but they're going to lose Rosethorn first. Kisno burning the resets. Onat dashed in, and he was able to get one, but they lost the Croc at the top lane to Kisno. 3 members alive. Shock Blast connecting on Onat, using that reset to get out of there. It will still be LiT, though. Not only do they get the 2 kills, but they still retain the eye.
Oh, yeah. I mean, getting another couple of kills, it just feels as though LiT is out team fighting Team Fish Taco every single time. They're a little bit more coordinated than Team Fish Taco, and this was a major problem for Taco earlier in the split.
That's the TP coming in from Onat. He was open for a reset here on its Dragoon, but that's a big shield. The dash in, messages, dashes him back underneath the turret, so it will be a 1-for-1, but Onat at least does get something for the team.
Yeah, but it's still a shutdown going right on over to Messages as well. Jace, another character that really loves scaling into the game. You get to those 3 items, the surreal is complete, and suddenly you just outrange everybody and their mother. And so LiT, they need to find a way to try and leverage that. They are finally in a spot where the gold is even yet again, but they need to start using their range advantage. They need to start taking a bit more control over these objectives before they spawn so that they can prevent Team Fish Taco from just going for all these fights.
LiT are just scrappy, man. They're just constantly ready to rumble, and that's something I think that caught Mirage Alliance off guard with. It caught Team Fish Taco off guard in game 1 against them, and now we're seeing that even though Team Fish Taco might have a better idea, a better read of that, especially with their draft, that's once they get these 2 items, they're going to feel very powerful up against LiT. They're still struggling in some of these regards, as you talked about, which targets they really want to focus on initially.
This is something that LiT Esports will need to be a little bit careful about when they start looking at other teams that are looking to promote, right? The wave management coming out from LiT might be their biggest weakness. We have consistently seen that they will drop waves kind of for no reason as they try and move around because they are so focused on trying to find the right fights and set up for these objectives. They end up doing so a little bit early, right? They are a little bit early right now, and Dragoon in a spot where he needs to be very careful that he actually gets to these waves and pushes them out before he has to teleport.
As LiT have gotten 4 members here in the mid lane. About to have the 5th. Dragoon is on his way, and Onat does not have the TP. A 4v5 with 30 seconds left until the Dragon. It would be a soul point potential for LiT if they're able to secure it.
I do want to point out the difference in Ezreal and Jace itemization as well, right? Because Spawn has already hit that Muramana and Jace has not. Jace also has much cheaper items than the Trinity Force and the Muramana, which speaks a lot to how powerful Spawn is going to be for this upcoming team fight. There's only 1 item completed onto Dragoon. There's only 1 item on Rock Boom. This is supposed to be Spawn's strongest point of the game, and we'll see how much work he can actually get done around this Ocean Dragon.
It's right there. Shelly dropped in the mid lane. Not going to be able to take the turret, but it has set up LiT to be the first ones on the call for this Dragon. Team Fish Taco, though, they're not too far behind. Only problem is Spawn keeps getting tagged by Messages with the shock blasts.
I mean, that is really, really big coming out from LiT. The fact that Messages is making Spawn so weak.
All right, into the Shadow Realm. It's Rosethorn fighting against Dragoon. That's just a 1-man, like you said. Onat tried to dive onto Messenger on the other side, but they got a lot of damage. Rock Boom, untouched. You got to get on him if you're going to stop LiT here. Team Fish Taco, but you cannot stop him. The Might now going boom onto Team Fish Taco as LiT are chasing down Team Fish Taco. Going the wrong way if they want to get out of this one alive. Rosethorn, he has been tagged. They know where he's at. Same with Onat and Lunacia. Messages doing his best to kind of keep him at bay and keep his attention, but he will fall all the while.
Onat looking quite good. They're trying to both back away.
Oh, but they're low. That's going to be the stun onto Lunacia. Dragoon's on the other side. The rocket jump didn't help out. It's right into the shutdown awaiting arms of Dragoon. Completely cleaning up Team Fish Taco.
Oh, True Shot Barrage not landing, but it is LiT once again coming out ahead in the fight. And for the first time this game, they actually have a gold lead, Magical. They are finally in the driver's seat, and we got to see what happened. I can't wait to see the replay because Rosethorn panicked. Rosethorn thought he was in way more trouble than he actually was, and the rest of the team ended up crumbling around him because they lost their front line.
They lost their front line, and nobody was touching a Rock Boom throughout that fight. Sure, he only gets 1 kill throughout it all, but Azeri getting all that free damage onto so many members of Team Fish Taco is ripping them apart.
Yeah. Looks like we might not be getting a replay anytime soon, but so far, LiT Esports, they are creating so much pressure, right? Rosethorn getting only a 1-man sleep across the entire
Dragoon.
thing. Onto Dragoon is like, cool, don't care. Then the rest of it, Messages landing Shock Blast after Shock Blast onto not just a weak or a squishy member, but onto Spawn while he's supposed to be at his biggest power spike of the game just makes LiT look so good. They are understanding the win conditions of their opponents a little bit better than Team Fish Taco actually have, and now they're trying to set up to really open up the board.
I just love the position right there for Messages, where he knows that Spawn's by himself in this mid lane, so he's looking for those angles to land those shock blasts so that he can't really do anything, and just his presence, just them knowing he's there, force him up. So here's that replay.
Yeah, so once again, watch Messages. He's consistently getting damage onto the right members, but as Rosethorn walks on up and pulled back into the rest of the team as well, it's a one-man ultimate. Dragoon in the middle of the entire team. By the time Rosethorn comes out, he's low. Dragoon has taken no damage. Rosethorn not in a position where he can actually contribute to the fight, and it's just a complete rout. It's on LiT to try and get as many of these kills as possible. The fact that they don't have as much gold, they're not on as many items as possible as they could be, does mean that it's a little bit worse, but this is probably the only play that's exciting, right? Onat jumping over, using the Buster Shot to knock Jace out of his own to the skies, not taking the damage, getting the kill there, does give a little bit of gold to Onat when they shouldn't have been expecting to get anything.
Yeah, exactly. It gets them the silver lining in that play. They knew that they were in a horrible spot. The best they could hope for is take a member or two of LiT with them into the grave, and they do get one, but all in all, it is now LiT in control as we get to take a look at the subway damage dealt last team fight graphic. Like I said, nobody's doing anything about Rock Boom.
No, and I mean the biggest thing, right? We were continuously pumping up Spawn to be the carry of that last fight. Oh, they're just going?
They're just going. They're looking for this play. Flux once again on Spawn. And hello, that damage on a Rosethorn as he goes golden. Rock Boom still free firing on Onat and Lunacia. They do get the shutdown to the Kisto. There's Lunacia trying to get onto Rock Boom, but he's cutting it back, trying to survive the best he can against the Crook. He's going to be able to get the kill back. It's going to be just the top lane for the jungler. Will favor Team Fish Taco because now LiT can't go on to it. But the snipes from Messages.
Oh my gosh, I was just about to say it's a miracle that Team Fish Taco don't lose more people in that fight, but Kizno, the only person to die here for LiT, does mean that they can't really try and play for this Baron buff, which could have been the nail in the coffin. And so, instead, we have to look at this next dragon. The Ocean Dragon is such a big win here for Team LiT, for LiT Esports, if they can grab it, because if you get a little bit low, cool. Then you shoot the other team. You do a little bit of damage to them, and then you will heal up hundreds of HP every single time. But it is still going to be Spawn, potentially the #1 player to look at for Team Fish Taco in this upcoming fight. He can do the damage necessary, and he has the red buff to slowly shrug off some of these shock blasts.
Slowly. That's going to be the biggest problem, because we are getting to that point. You said the 2-item spike favors that of Spawn. Great. Yes, you're right. We're getting to 3 items now. We're getting to those big spikes now for LiT. That's the bigger problem. They weren't able to utilize that power spike they had with Ezreal soon enough.
The big thing to watch for, right, other than Spawn, is also going to be Rosethorn. He got a one-man ultimate onto Dragoon. That is not enough. You need to get even more. You need to rely on the extra HP that you are building, but they haven't even gotten in.
Ocean Soul and Dragoon takes Rosethorn yet again to the Shadow Realm, and again it's a solo ult coming in onto him. He might lose his life. Dragoon, he does not stop in the back line. Nobody.
Smash!
Tom is smashing everybody. Onat tries to use a Buster Shot away, but it doesn't help. It is LiT Esports. They're making the comeback. They are the ones upsetting everybody in the promotion tournament. You cannot stop them. They want to get to the qualifying match.
Rosethorn just walking in again. The one-man ultimate. LiT understand the win condition. They lock him down. They got the Ocean Soul. They got the Baron buff. They're going to get the Thorough Baron buff. This should be everything they need to try and end the game. They are in total control from this point out.
If there's one thing I've learned about 2023 and Dragoon is that nothing will stop him from winning the promotion tournament. Be that the 8th seed in the spring promotion tournament with Supernova, be that the 6th here in the spring for 2024 or Baldur's Gate, this guy will smash the competition.
We got to give him so much credit for the way that he has been playing around Rosethorn, but after the setup has gone through, the way that Messages in particular, and the way that the rest of the team is setting him up to just get a lot of damage down, and Raku finally coming into his own in this game too, is really allowing them to take as much as they have been every single fight. This is a team that looks like a well-oiled machine. They have great ways to try and play around all these objectives. They seem to understand win conditions of the game super, super well. And this is a team that could very well be well on their way to making their way into the Challengers League.
The power of friendship. We've seen it with Cincinnati Fear, and it looks like we're about to witness it again here with LiT Esports, as they now have a 4,500 gold lead. The Turo Baron buff, an Ocean Soul on top of them, 26 minutes into the game. And Team Fish Taco don't seem like they can stop this hype train from going to the station.
And as they continue to go, I mean, it's a similar thing, right? Lunacia was trying to split push last game. This time it is Onat off in the side lane, trying to get something. At least there's some objective bounties to pick up, but LiT have to be so careful about making sure that they close this one out correctly, because if they go for a bad dive and Onat gets to free hit onto this inhibitor, I mean, it's an opportunity.
Someone's got to go back to stop him right now, because he's about to take the inhibitor turret itself, and I think this is a smart call here from Onat. Just keep him here. He's going to open up the base. Someone has to deal with this Tristana. Finally, Dragoon is going to get into the base, but it's going to be too late. That inhibitor's gone.
That's a lot of money that we just saw picked up coming out from Team Fish Taco, right? They got a ton off of those objective bounties, but oh no, the inhibitor's still alive. Rosethorn.
Yeah, Rosethorn does have Onat on the other side that he could peel back to. Lunacia had TP. The best thing now for Team Fish Taco is they have delayed the inevitable. They have gotten themselves some gold back, and it's 3 minutes until an Elder flip could be a reality.
Yeah, it's even with the Turo Baron buff, it is LiT space that is now open. You have opportunities for base races, and Team Fish Taco, they're playing the map well. They are pulling the members of LiT around.
Trying to get the stun, trying to get the root on to Rosethorn. Doing the best they could, but not going to actually get enough. All the while, Lunacia, he was pushing in the top lane. And TP to join the rest of the team if need be, but Dragoon has already been escorting his minions down to the tier 2 in the bot lane.
Yeah, and they are all here. The fact that LiT, even though they're giving up away from the top side, who really cares? You still have so much pressure on the other half of the map. You should be dictating the game.
Dragoon's got to be careful.
Goes forward.
He pulls Anixai into the Shadow Realm. Not the front line you needed to get, but he's getting a lot of damage onto him regardless. He will get the kill. That is one free kill. The Croc could be another one that can make into some shoes. The flash in! Dragoon! How do you do this, my friend? Every time the pressure is on him, and he steps up. Rosethorn, he'll fall too. It is LiT Esports taking the base of Team Fish Tacos, one of our challenger teams, to fall to the 6th seeded team from the open qualifiers.
And it's Dragoon coming right on back. His laning phase not there, but he is team fighting like a madman. He's just able to do everything. And again, you can't be losing this guy. He's been putting so many hours in the Baldur's Gate at this point. The rest of LiT Esports just slowly walking in. Can they do anything?
Trying to do anything. NXI hoping for a miracle. That's a lot of damage, but he lost his life. And Dragoon's back for the fight. Spawn dashing away. But with the turrets now falling, LiT are opening up the base, at least part way of Team Fish Taco, who keep trying everything possible to keep this game alive. Their hopes of not going to the lower bracket now on the line here against LiT Esports.
That's one inhibitor down. Another inhibitor turret opened up as well. LiT Esports on the cusp of greatness, upsetting Mirage Alliance, the #1 qualifying team, and then taking down Team Fish Taco, one of the challengers teams whose spots they are trying to take as well. They are open. The one thing, they have one box left to check, and it is fighting over this Elder Dragon. If they get stopped, if they don't have an opportunity to set up properly, it could be a disaster with the Elder Dragon coming through. And so Team Fish Taco, they are setting up Rosethorn. This is your final chance. We've had 2 one-person ultimates coming out from this Lilia onto only Dragoon's Mordekaiser. That cannot be how Team Fish Taco go out.
Well, the worst thing, too, is if he doesn't use it, he'll die to Dragoon, because at this point in the game, Dragoon, 3 items on that Mordekaiser. He is very much online, and the power is there. As you can see, level 16 of Lunacia's 14, the engage comes in from Plux, and into the Shadow Realm. He drags NXI, the flash coming in. They do get the shutdown onto Plux. Rosethorn is asleep. The damage on the Rock Boom, the shutdown. Team Fish Taco, they might have found their miracle as they've taken out the threat of the bot lane.
That's an Elder Dragon that Team Fishtaco are going to start playing for. Messages is still
Low
alive.
health.
It is so much.
A lot of low health. Lunacia slice and dice away. Spawns on the other side. Chalkbot's not going to connect, but everyone from Team Fish Taco so low. Trying to go for the engage. Messages takes one rampage. Dashing forward. The double kill. Dragoon cannot be stopped here once more as they now have fought off Team Fish Taco around the Elder Dragon.
There's super minis in the base at this point. Spawn can't afford to let the Elder Dragon go, but he can't afford to not defend his base either. The first Nexus turret is starting to fall, and Spawn,
Minions.
what can he do?
He can't go back because you know that LiT are going to immediately jump onto the Elder, but he has to do something, and he will eventually peel back to stop the base from falling apart.
Oh my gosh, LiT Esports in a 3v5 after losing Rock Boom, still standing tall in that last fight. Messages tries to go aggressive in. Dragoon yet again bringing down the hammer, smashing everything around. They get the Elder Dragon onto 4 members, and now they can move over towards the Baron. And you think Team Fish Taco were going to win the last fight? They have to try and win it now with an Elder.
Ah, man, that's already difficult enough how it was before, and now it's seeming impossible for Team Fish Taco. A team that came into this one fueled by rage, but it seems that the power of friendship topples the rage of the Barbarians here from Team Fish Taco with a Turo Baron buff now on their hailers with the Elder Dragon.
Ocean Soul, the Elder Dragon, the Turo Baron buff. If this is not enough for LiT to end the game, I don't know what will be. They are now marching their way in. 2 inhibitors are already down there, bringing waves at the same time in the top lane and in the mid lane, trying to make sure that they can crash them all at the same time. LiT Esports, these guys have been real all weekend long. These guys need to get so much respect, and everybody is going to be remembering how this team was able to run in this tournament.
And everyone should remember Kisno and Dragoon. They pulled off a miracle back in the summer promotion, and here in the spring 2024 promotion, they're looking to replicate that success by taking down one of our North American Challengers League teams, and Team Fish Taco. Only one Nexus turret stands in their way from going to the qualifying match. They face off against Supernova, the former home of Dragoon and Kisno. And you better bet they want that revenge. They want to get there and show everybody how powerful they truly are as players. But Team Fish Taco, you've got to do something. There are super minions from every lane now pouring in, and with how low you've been chunked out, this game's looking over before you can do anything. And XI, he's gone! No longer having to worry about that, and the snipes come in! The Dragon clumps down the jaws onto Team Fish Tacos, and LiT Esports will move on to the qualifying match!
Honestly, great stuff coming through from LiT Esports. Again, taking down 2 of the top contenders that we were expecting to be in this. Nobody was really expecting them to come this far at all. It has been so good coming out from this roster, top to bottom. And Kisno, like you were saying, deserves so much credit as well. He wasn't making any flashy plays during that game at all. He was constantly in the right places, getting good engages going, and setting up for Messages and Dragoon to take over all of these fights. This is a team that looks like it's been playing together for so much longer than it actually has. These guys have only been playing together for a couple of weeks. These guys are the real deal, and I can't wait to see how they're going to be playing up against Supernova.
One game is a fluke, maybe a series is an accident, but 2 series, 2 zeros is not. And LiT Esports are a team that we must now talk about as being one of our potential teams to move on into the Challengers League for 2024. And I couldn't be prouder of this team and the journey they have had, like you said, Josh. It has been fantastic to watch, but I think it's even better to hear from the players. I can only imagine the excitement going through each and every one of them. So we're going to toss to a break so we can get our Verizon post-game interview with Sierra and the victorious LiT Esports. Make sure you stay tuned.
So good, now we getting by. Subway refreshed their ingredients, their menu, and now they're slicing their meats fresh. That's why their new Subway Series subs are preferred by this champ.
And his future champ.
Pros who are talking heads prefer fresh sliced turkey.
And pros who use their heads prefer fresh sliced ham.
More deli meats are preferred by this QB.
And preferred by his old backup QB.
And if we prefer it, we know you'll prefer it too. Is this slice as good as your tennis slice?
I can't answer that, but yes.
All right, it is time for a Verizon post-game interview, and I have messages from LiT Esports here. First off, congratulations on this series. One that you managed to take in 2 games against one of our Challengers teams fighting for their spot. I mean, LiT Esports was not a team that many had ranked very high going into this, and you're pulling all these upsets. How are you feeling about this?
I mean, I'm going to say I'm not surprised. That's what I'll say. I'm not surprised. You know, these people, they like to doubt us. I mean, one of our teammates only plays Boulder Gate, and they're still losing to us. We're not really playing solo queue a whole lot, and yet these guys are getting crushed like if we put in 300 hours a day. So, I mean, I'm personally not surprised though that they're losing.
All right, but for reals this time, do you think LiT Esports was gonna make this run? I mean, like, really?
I mean, you're just gonna have to watch, right? Like, I mean, I'm gonna say it, that we're gonna definitely beat Supernova. I'm sorry to Sketch, but he's definitely gonna go down the loser bracket. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna probably promote after our next series. So.
All right. So then, with all of this confidence coming from this team that's just playing Baldur's Gate, is not solo queuing, that is crushing all your opponents, what is then the secret key here that these other teams haven't found?
I mean, you said it. It's Baldur's Gate. That's the secret. That's the secret right there. You already said it. Yeah, that's it. 200 hours on my ADC, I think, or 100 hours on my ADC, and like 200 hours on my top laner. So we're just missing a few key players. And then, yeah.
Anything else though? Because I will say, out of all the teams, LiT Esports has, I feel like, I don't know, it seems like the most of the vibe of the 5 friends all chilling together, running it down and finding this success. Do you think like this mentality also paves the way for these victories?
I mean, yeah, definitely. We went to off season knowing that we wanted to play with a lot of friends. I mean, obviously we've had a lot of roster changes, some that we didn't really want. But you know, we're still comfortable. We still like the people that we're playing with now. Still very happy to be playing with these guys. And yeah, we're just kind of playing. We're just 5 friends this year, running it down, like doing some crazy drafts you guys are watching, right? Nasus, Vayne, got some more stuff cooking up. Like, I mean, we're just having fun. We're just vibing.
And then with this group of friends just running it down and actually really close to promoting into the NACL Spring Split, what are the ambitions of this team going forward?
I don't know yet for our ambitions, whether it's going more than this. I think we do want to go more than this, but I think time will tell whether if we keep playing in NACL, we get other offers, stuff like that. But I'm definitely excited for what that road looks ahead of us with how we've been playing. So.
All right, and then what about your own ambitions going forward in the space? Is this something that is, with this group of friends, is this fun? Is this something that you're looking to get into LCS? Like, where are you hoping to be going in this space?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been trying to go to Academy or even LCS. I definitely feel like I've been at this skill level for a long time now, and not a lot of people have been getting me credit where credit is due. And yeah, I've switched my role a lot on this team, more of a shot caller. I think more than ever now is definitely the time that I think I deserve an NACL spot. So, you know, I'm just going to keep proving people that I deserve it.
And then now that you've taken kind of this more role of shot caller on the team, how has that been for your own gameplay? And also, who is the most then difficult on your team to be controlling with your shot calling?
Oh, God. Okay, so the first question, I think it's affected my gameplay a little. I mean, you can see my early laning is a little rough. I still need to fix that a little bit because I'm a little focused on everything else, trying to tell everybody, trying to figure out what I want to do myself. But after I get out of that space and then I kind of get into mid game, it's kind of wraps. Like I know everything what to do. I know what's going on. I know like kind of what to think about. And then Rocco is definitely, or Rockboom, sorry. It's definitely the hardest to control. This guy, I have to scream sometimes. I'm like, okay, do not go for it. Don't Rockboom, don't go for it. And he's like, no, trust. And then die, and he'll be like, oh, my bad, I should have listened. I'm like, oh, you think you should have listened?
Hey, at least today it seemed like it worked out. 'Cause there was some crazy shenanigans, but they're all good. So last but not least, of course, with LiT Esports being so close to qualifying, of course, you do need to be going through the other team looking to keep their spot going on forward in Supernova. So looking ahead at this matchup in these players, how are you feeling look ahead at this matchup?
I mean, I'm very excited. I mean, I like Sketch a lot. I really like Sketch. He's like one of my good friends in the space. And yeah, I think that actually Taco was probably the hardest opponent in my head, matchup wise, just for me personally, with the type of player Onad is. So I thought it was a little bit more difficult for me, but I don't think there's a lot of competition when it comes to me and him and Robbie. So yeah.
Right, so we're definitely excited for this match. The Cinderella run has been so much fun to watch. Before I let you go and probably play Baldur's Gate or anything other than League with the team, do you have any final words or any final shout-outs?
Yeah, I mean, shout out my girlfriend, shout out my friends as well, shout out the people that come to support me from Samus Duel's chat, and then yeah, shout out my team. Our team's been amazing to split, even with the ups and downs. I mean, we really kept it together mentally, and you know, I can't thank anybody else but them. So yeah, and thank you for supporting me if I have new fans from these gameplays or this gameplay. So yeah.
I definitely think with this run there has been some new fans in the chat. They've been very, very loud, very vocal. So congrats again on this win.
You.
Best of luck in your qualifying best of 5, okay?
All right, thank you. Thank you.
You. As for us, back to the desk for us to be wrapping up this day. I am excited for the skill cap of this team, in all honesty. If, like, messages just saying they're just not solo queuing, they're just playing other video games, and I mean, Magical, this is the performance we're seeing. Like,
I have believed. Everyone else doubted them, but then there I was standing and saying, hey, you know what? They're gonna duo Mirage. And then if they win that series, they're going to go on and they're going to qualify for 2024. And we are one step away. We're that much closer to having greatness.
It's crazy how Alex is always right, because we have never heard ever about any time he wasn't.
Big brain, shush you. Nobody asked your opinion, Josh.
All right. Well, then what I'm curious about, if Magical's claiming to always be right, pulling up her bracket here, I mean, we've already heard, Magical, your words about how you think this qualifying match in our upper bracket is going to go, as it will be LiT Esports going up against Supernova. Your homework, Alex, is to be filling out the bottom half of this bracket so we can then pull it up at a later day to see how wrong you were. But
no. See, that's not how genius works. I have to be inspired. I have to have something happen. That moment of greatness.
You're gonna talk the talk. You're gonna walk the walk here, buddy. But hey, honestly, if I had to be filling out this bracket from the start, Joshi, I would be so wrong on so many accounts already.
I mean, LiT making the double upset happen is really crazy to come through. Can't wait to see how they play up against Supernova. But people who are looking at that, yeah, they will be playing up against Supernova in a couple of days. That takes place on September 2nd. For now, we will be going over to the lower side of the bracket where Team Ambition and Team Fish Taco will play against each other. And as Mirage, Alliance, and Winthrop University will try to defend their opportunity to actually continue to promote.
It's crazy here, honestly. Alex, beyond you talking about how right you are, the rest of the bracket that we see, and especially looking at this lower run, I want to kind of get your thoughts on it, because it's one thing is for sure, whenever we're looking at the NACL and how we think things are going to be shaking up, there's always room for surprises. Like, the players always surprise us.
And that's the thing. It's a tournament where you have players that didn't get to play against each other when you look at a team like Team Fish Taco and Supernova, since they were playing in the Challengers League, but then you have teams that have played against each other that are now joining in, and it's a patch kind of removed from what we saw. So you had all these different practices, this different scrims that you can bring to the table here, and I think that's why I honestly would look at a team like LiT and be like, they have the potential to upset, because people might not be ready for what they bring to the table when it comes to meta and how that shifts around, where other teams might have been really good on one patch, but now things have shifted away from what their power was previously.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time, as we still have so much more at League of Legends to be played throughout our promotion tournament. But that is it for today. Thank you, everyone, so much for sticking it through with us. Thank you, Magical and Joshi, for being, you know, the most derailing casters that could be out there, but you make things fun. And of course, we do have to be thanking our sponsors, starting with Toro, which the LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Toro. is the world's largest car sharing marketplace. You can book any car for just about any occasion, and you can forget about your boring car rentals at Turo.com. That's where Alex is going to go instantly after being right about his bottom
Always
bracket run.
Always right.
Book himself a limousine to go out and get some food somewhere. Get your own Subway or whatnot. So first, thank you to all of our other sponsors, and thank you, production. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. Make sure to be coming back tomorrow because you never know how things are going to be going down in the NACL. But until then, have a great night.